This week we're going from a reject Christmas decoration to this. Let's find out how. This week we are taking this lovely copper Christmas decoration, which was only £2.50 from Wilkinson's full price, and I got it reduced after Christmas in the sale. I'm going to be planting it up with some of my favourite things, Sempervivum. You may remember I did a Valentine's inspired Sempervivum heart. Well, this is going to build on that skill set. Now if you don't have something like this on hand, then go ahead and make your own. You could use just wire off the reel and twiddle it round and make something that's going to enclose the sphagnum moss. You could use chicken wire, that would work really well. Or if you wanted to go big, you could strap together 2 hanging baskets, one that way, and then plant the living daylights out of it with Sempervivum, and that would look absolutely stunning. It is something that I plan to do, but I haven't quite got around to it yet. So this is our small start. Let's see if we can achieve this. Maybe then I can go big. Okay, let's get started. So the other ingredients you're going to need are Sempervivum. This pack here was from B&Q and cost £7, and it is absolutely stuffed with Sempervivum. Now Sempervivum are hardy succulents. They are fine here in the UK all year, outside, snow, frost, doesn't matter, they will be fine. I picked carefully. Some had lots of little tiny chicks, but not many larger rosettes, which I'm not going to be using on this project, but it's nice to have the size variety. Some were all big single rosettes with no chicks, so just have a look. They had a huge selection out this weekend. Just take your time, pick the right one, be sure you're happy with what you've got. There's just so many babies. We're also going to be using some sphagnum moss to stuff the shape with. This is our long-stranded sphagnum moss, the type that you would use for lining a hanging basket. It means it's not going to just instantly fall out as soon as you put it in because it's all chopped up too tiny. This is long strands, so it's going to help hold the shape. It's going to hold some moisture, but because it's a hanging ornament and it's Sempervivum, it's not going to hold too much moisture. We're not going to be using any soil. We are just going to let Sempervivum root into this. Sempervivum are also called house leeks because, as I have explained before, they can just live on roofing tiles. They don't need soil as such. They can just cling on and grow. They're amazing. So the first thing I'm going to do is stuff this with the sphagnum moss. Now you might find it helps to use a pencil or something just to help really pack it out. You can see how long stranded this is. It's quite amazing. So I'm going to use my hand underneath just to help stop it all falling through and start pushing the moss through the spaces in the form. Fuller is better at this stage. Just be patient and keep packing it in. That's a piece of rubber. I don't want that. Wow, I thought I was nearly there, but I've just rammed that in a bit tighter with my finger, and you can see I've got almost a third of the ball still to fill. Okay, better keep going. Okay. So now if I press my finger in, I can't go very far at all. It leaves a little bit of a divot, but it's not really super compressing. So now we're going to start putting some of these crowns into here. The easiest thing to do is to leave the pot planted, pick a crown, or a chick, whatever you want to call it, and just pull ever so gently and you find the chicks come off. Just like that. And they come off with the little stem that joined them to the parent plant, and we're going to use that to help us anchor them into the form. I'm going to use a pencil to make a little hole, push the little stem in, and there you go, that's the first one in. So we're just going to carry on round the ball doing that. If you've got different varieties and colours, then you might want to work out a pattern. I'm not going to, I'm just going to go random. But you can go ahead and pack the plants quite nice and tight together. That will help hold them in. And you're trying to maintain this spherical shape. So just think about that as you're pushing the little chicks in. Just like with the Valentine's heart, if you are thinking of giving this away, then best thing to do is actually do this process a couple of weeks before you think you're going to need it. That will have allowed the roots time to grow in. Don't be afraid to move things around. We might need to use some greening pins, floristry pins, just to help hold the succulents in. It's what we did on the heart as well. If you've got any old dead leaves, then go ahead and pull those off. There isn't really going to be an opportunity to tidy this up afterwards, so better to do that sort of thing now. This rosette is particularly heavy, so I'm just going to pop a mossing pin. This is a 40mm mossing pin. I've used it before, hence why it's rusty. Don't worry about that. In. Pop a couple in. To provide a shelf or to try and trap a leaf and just help hold the rosette a little bit more upright until the roots have settled in. All finished. I'm really pleased with that. Now I'm not going to lie, although the technique is really easy, it did take a good 2.5–3 hours. It probably would have gone a lot quicker if I prepared all my cuttings first. So I am going to put that somewhere protected for a couple of weeks just to see how it does. Make sure all the cuttings are nicely fixed in before I try and hang it out anywhere where it might get wind knocked. I won't need to water it for a couple of weeks. I've planted it up into very damp sphagnum moss, so it will be absolutely fine. And that is all I have left. I've completely used one pot and decimated much of the others. I've still got big rosettes left because there's no way they'd fit in anything. But all the nice little chicks that were tucked in around, they're all in my lovely hanging spear. Keep an eye on it. If pins look like they're starting to work loose, just push them in. If any of the cuttings look like they're not really bedding in, maybe pop some extra pins in just to hold them tight. You might think it looks a bit odd because I've got some quite large rosettes happening, but the whole thing will fill out. This is a work in progress. Nature's got to do the next bit. Right, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to rate, share and subscribe to me here on YouTube. And until next time, bye!